And our next question comes from Johnny, and he says, I haven't started dating again since I've been sober. I'm just waiting and taking my time and working on myself. So, how long until you felt comfortable being intimate and dating sober, or were you always in a relationship? And then he said, I think you were actually. So thank you for your question, Johnny. I was always married, and I met my husband 1 month after I started drinking. So he got to witness the whole thing, unfortunately, from the beginning to the horrible parts to the end. But all of the dating that I did before I met my husband was without alcohol. I started drinking later than most people do, so I do have some sober dating experience, but it's not exactly the same because I didn't have struggles with alcohol at that time. I just chose not to drink. AA will recommend that people wait a year before they start dating, and that might sound like a really long time, but there's a lot of healing that happens in the first year and a lot of work that needs to be done internally. So I don't think you have to necessarily wait exactly a year, but I think you will know when you're ready, and I don't think you should rush it. The biggest problem with problem drinkers is we are extremely emotionally immature, and we have no coping skills. Otherwise, we wouldn't be drinking like that. If we bring our emotional immaturity and lack of coping skills into a relationship, then it's not going to go well. And this caused a lot of problems for me in my marriage. I was easily offended. I took everything personally. I needed constant validation that my husband loved me. I got jealous, and I thought everybody was out to get me. Thankfully, though, I attracted a good guy, and my husband is wonderful to me. But with this pattern of behavior, every single guy I dated before him was awful. I had 2 emotionally abusive relationships back to back, and the guys who weren't that bad still did not treat me well. When we're emotionally immature and dramatic, we attract a certain type of person, and healthy, mature, secure, confident people are repelled sometimes by people that are immature, needy, and dramatic. So I think that is another reason why waiting is a good thing, because we have to do the work to get into healthy relationships or to make our existing relationships healthier, and that work takes time. So I would reflect on what qualities you've brought into your last relationships when you think if you're ready or not. And if you're having trouble meeting someone that treats you well or is ready for a relationship, then it might mean that you need to do a little bit more internal work and look where you're meeting these people too. So we feel like we have to meet everybody in the bar, but you can meet them at the gym, rock climbing, single events. You can meet them at school if that applies to you. You can meet them in recovery. One of my friends who's over 20 years sober met his wife in AA. There's lots of different places to meet people that are not at the bar. So I encourage everybody to get into therapy and work on handling negative emotions, liking yourself, and being secure in who you are. You can also get support from a community of people just like you, either in AA, Smart Recovery, My Living a Sober Powered Life community, or things like that. Community is useful because you will see examples of people learning lessons, and you can model what they're learning, and you can get feedback on your own experiences. If you're dating someone and they did something that triggered neediness or you feeling offended, then you can go ask your community for feedback. They're not personally involved in your relationship, so they'll be able to look at it without emotion and give you their opinion. Getting feedback has been one of the most helpful things for me to learn, and it helped me learn when things are a big deal versus when I'm getting triggered and making assumptions that make them a big deal.